Welcome back to another edition, Talk Nerdy to Me. I am your host, Troy Stegman. Before we get into this comic book review, I'm going to ask you one favor. Subscribe to this channel. It really helps us a lot with the metrics. Now that that's over, looky, comic booky. Can you see this? Venom number 200. You can see it's a lot thicker. It's almost trade paperback size. It's good. They're really and I love this cover. They're really celebrating the 200th issue of Venom. Now I hadn't read a lot of the Venom stuff. I know Knull, the King in Black came. He brought a bunch. He wanted to collect all his symbiotes back. If you don't know about Knull, he is basically the creator of the symbiotes, and the planet Clentar, which is basically their language for cage, I believe, cage or prison. I believe it's cage. The symbiotes didn't like. They wanted to get rid of him because he's just hell bent on domination. So actually, the whole planet, it's not really a planet. It's just all those symbiotes gathered, bunched up around him to keep him encased in the center. And everybody knows the story, how Venom got to Earth. You know, during Secret Wars, Spider-Man's suit was jacked up, and he found, this really cool suit that, just kind of form fits him and changes for him. He doesn't have to take it off and hide it. It'll disappear and draw into him. Come find out, that should have been your first clue. Come on, Peter. You're a genius level scientist. You should know better. But he didn't. So he brought it back to Earth, and he couldn't really control it. So it started making him have a lot of dark impulses. He kind of got rid of it with Reed Richards' help, but it didn't kill it and it didn't go away. So Mr. Eddie Brock kind of wandered across it, and he became the new host for Venom, and then branched off from there. But it starts off where Eddie is back from dead, of course, from King in Black. The spire, which is what Knull used to kind of communicate, because they have a hive mind, no matter where they're at, anywhere, he could use the spire and connect to them, see through their eyes, kind of control them. Eddie has that in his apartment now with it, and Eddie has a son, Dylan, and Dylan knows all about this because he helped them fight the King in Black. So Eddie is, it kind of shows he's doing all these, and Eddie's doing good with the symbiotes now. So he helped get rid of King in Black, dispatched him. He is able to kind of control them and help all these other, they're helping helpless aliens being attacked by these ruthless people. Just doing good all across the universe, galaxy, which is bigger, from everywhere. But then, he's also a frail old dude when he doesn't have the symbiote. He's having problems with Dylan, typical teenager problems. He's actually on good speaking terms with Spider-Man and the Avengers and all those. In fact, he has a lunch with Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is telling him, hey, you're pretty much omnipotent now. You're a god. He's like, no, I'm not omnipotent. I'm omnipresent. I am everywhere. And right in the middle of his conversation with Spider-Man, his eyes glaze over, and Spider-Man's like, hey, you still here? He's like, yeah, I'm also meeting with the Avengers in a different symbiote. And that kind of freaks Spider-Man. He's like, oh, well, and he tries to steal one of his fries, but he still knocks him away. It's, I really like the direction they're taking with this. I got so tired of the symbiotes just all being evil and bad. So now they're actually using the symbiotes for the good. And he's meeting with Avengers, tells them, the Avengers are trying to get, Captain America extends the invitation to him, hey, you want to be an Avenger, man? We got a spot for you. He's like, yeah, no, not my thing, but I know somebody who would definitely help you guys out quite a bit. Anyone? Any guesses? Somebody else who had the symbiote, Flash Thompson. obviously he still does have a symbiote because we got, I believe it was Antivenom, the white-looking suit. And, Flash Thompson was supposed to be dead too, but he kind of got brought back. I guess the symbiotes, once they kind of bond with you, man, they don't like going anywhere else. They get that good thing going with you, and they want to get, and, the symbiotes can heal you. You got these dudes in the green, the Guardians, I believe they're called. Anyway, their job is just to hunt down aliens and symbiotes and take them out. Flash is waiting to get some coffee, and all of a sudden the barista he put his order with gets shot in the head. He's thinking, hey, that shot was meant for me. These guys just missed, and they killed the innocent guy, so he flips out. He's taking them all out, and they're like, dude, who are you? We don't even know who you are. You weren't our target. We hit our target. That was our target. Come to find out, that barista dude had his own symbiote. So, the symbiotes, because, Knull brought them all to Earth, so it just stands to reason a few of them would stay behind. And, he takes, they have that other symbiote kid dead to rights. They're going to pop a shot in his head and take him out. Yeah, so Flash saves that barista kid, and then it kind of flashes over to Dylan in school. I guess he's a freshman. The seniors picking on him, bullying him, and it basically shows Dylan had a symbiote too. He had powers, so he keeps remembering that, and in his mind, I guess he's working over this bully. But then it goes to reality. No, the bully whooped him. He's in the principal's office, and the principal's like, oh, why are you having so many problems? Start fight. He's like, the kid started the fight. Why isn't he in here? Typical teenager problems, because I had problems like that in school too. It seemed like they never got the right person, the principals. That's why they're high school principals. They don't care about the underlying problem. They just want to solve it quick and get done with it. At least they did in my school. Anyway, they go back, and Dylan is still upset. He's walking around town, and Eddie sends Venom. I guess and that's another thing they talk about. Dylan asks him, "What is your name?" He's like, "Well, it's Venom." He's like, "No, your name is Venom when you're with Dad. You and him and Eddie do that whole 'we are Venom' thing. But when they're separated, he's Eddie. What is your name?" And he tries to explain to him, we don't. The symbiotes don't use a name. They have, each one of them has a different vibrational frequency, and that's how they recognize each other. So Dylan asks him, "Hey, I would like to experience your name." So it's Venom, because he sent Venom to. He sent the symbiote. Let me say it that way, to watch over Dylan while he's at school, so nothing happens to him. And so he goes in the form of a dog on a chain. So he's holding the chain, and he sends him the vibrational frequency. And that kind of allowed Dylan to communicate with the symbiote. So, like I said, after school, Dylan's walking around. He's still ticked about what happened with the bully and the principal not really believing him. And as they're walking around in the rain, the symbiote tells him, "Hey, some lady's getting mugged over here, or getting hurt." So Dylan wants to go help him, and the symbiote's like, no, I promised Eddie I would watch after you, make sure nothing happens. I'm going to take you home. And Dylan is, he's got a little bit of Eddie in him. He wants to do what's right, so he runs down there, and this jack-o'-lantern is accosting this woman. Dylan tells him, "Hey, back off. I told you to let her go." And he doesn't, so Dylan hits him, knocks off his jack-o'-lantern head, and the jack-o'-lantern's like, "Hey, you're going to be sorry for that." But then symbiote steps in and says, "Nope, get behind me, Dylan. We're going to take care of this." So he becomes all big and monstrous, and jack-o'-lantern pops off a few shots at him, and instead of absorbing the bullets, I guess, or maybe it was just too high frequency, it went through the symbiote and hit Dylan. And Dylan he's in bad shape. So the symbiote freaks out, and to save Dylan, he bonded with Dylan, because the symbiotes can heal you. He can heal human bodies. And he becomes this huge version of Venom. And he goes and just pummels Jack-o'-lantern. But then he goes home, and The Venom symbiote is the one symbiote that Eddie can't really see or control when it's away from him because of their connection, I guess. So Dylan comes and he's like, "Hey, Dad, I can explain, because he shows up in the big Venom suit." He's like, "No, I'm not mad. This was kind of inevitable. I really expected this to happen. That's why I kept sending the symbiote with you, because there's no safer place in the universe than being with that symbiote." So he kind of figured it was going to happen eventually. It did. And he tells him, I just wanted to make sure, because when I first got the symbiote, I had some hatred in me, and that's why I started acting out badly with the Venom symbiote. I wanted to make sure that wasn't going to happen with you, but I can see, you're good. So he tells him, because Eddie doesn't really go out anymore. He sits on the spire throne and connects through all the symbiotes, making sure all the stuff is going well. And he tells him, try it on. Let me see what your Venom symbiote looks like, your Venom suit. So Dylan puts it on, and it's just, he's huge. And he tells him, he's like, "Man, you're a little big, right?" And he's like, "Well, I wanted to inspire fear." And then he has chains wrapped around his wrists. So he's like, "Well, what's up with the chains?" And Dylan's like, "Spider webs are played out, man. I like chains." So he has chains. And as they're sitting there talking, doing their dad and son bonding, he tells him, "I'm sorry I wasn't there for you all the time. And I really apologize, but now you have this." And then something happens, like, "Oh, something's going on over here." He's like, "You want to take care of it, Dylan? Go ahead." So then Dylan's like, "Heck yeah." He's got the big old symbiote. It's the Venom symbiote with Dylan, Eddie Brock's son. And you can see right here, it's just monstrous. So that was their excuse to redo the Venom look. And his chest spider is not really the spider anymore. It's the dragon that Knull has. It's the white dragon, and it's got the long tail. Instead of ending right here, it has the long dragon tail. And that's where it ended. That now we have it established we have somebody new with the Venom symbiote, which is Dylan Brock, who is Eddie Brock's son. I'm really, like I said, I'm really liking it. Instead of just another, hey, we have another symbiote. Oh, hey, this one kind of branched off. And I'm enjoying it. I wish now I might go back and read some of the King in Black. I like what they're doing with this, where they're going with it. I like that Eddie can control them all, and that he's actually good now. They're bringing back Flash Thompson. He's got his own symbiote. I like the fact that they have symbiotes still on Earth. Because even Peter was trying to apologize. He's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry I ever brought the symbiote to Earth." And Eddie tells him, "They were already here, man. You just brought that specific one back. If you know their symbiote lore, they were around in Vietnam. They were in one of the squads. They've been the symbiotes have been on Earth for a while. Peter didn't bring them. So it's a really good 200th episode. I'm digging it, man. I can't wait. They got kind of a preview, numero dos. You can see it's kind of got the Flash Thompson one, the anti-venom looking one. And it looks like Scream down there with him. So it's almost like they're reinventing the symbiotes. I like it. I like the direction they're taking with it, because the symbiotes were starting to get like the old life model decoys they had back in the day, or the Sentinels. They would kind of overuse them and not do anything new with them. It was just getting old. Or the clones. They did a lot of stuff with the clones that it was just the same thing rehashed all the time. So it took 200 issues, but we have a new kind of version of the symbiotes, and I'm liking it. That's my review for Venom. I'm saying go pick this up off the shelf and subscribe to it from here out, because I really want to see where they're going with this, what's going to happen from it. Is he going to stay good? Is King in Black, is Knull going to come back eventually? Oh, and they mentioned, how did I forget? They also had the Ultimate Universe version of Reed Richards, who got a symbiote and kind of went crazy, but he started doing cybernetic enhancements to it. So, and that's what Venom's going after. So I'm guessing this Ultimate version of Reed Richards is going to be the next big bad. And I believe, because they said he's from the Ultimate Universe, so are we going to see more Ultimate? Are they trying to bring the Ultimate Universe back? Maybe. DC is working with Milestone, so Marvel might be bringing back Ultimate Universe. That would be kind of cool. There's some really cool stuff in the Ultimate Universe. We will see. That is my review of Venom 200. If you like that review and you'd like to see more like it, subscribe to this channel. It really helps us a lot. And while you're at it, hit the bell icon. You'll be notified whenever we put up a new video. Until you see that new video, later, nerds.
Get nerdy with me. Tell me what game that you get on. Is it card or read? What kind of class do you play, girl? In an RPG?